What's going on, YouTube? Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Rdapdan here, federal prison time. Hope you guys are all having an amazing week so far. Make sure if you have not subscribed to my channel, you go ahead and tap the bell. Do so now to get notifications. Also, text the word YouTube to 35074 to receive text notifications of when we're getting ready to go live. And I'm also now on another platform other than YouTube. It's called VidMe, and there's a link in the description of this video that can take you to the channel where I have all of the videos that are on YouTube are now also uploaded there as well. And there will be additional content that will be put onto VidMe that will not be on YouTube. So you're going to need to subscribe to my channel on VidMe, which is just under Rdapdan, on VidMe in order to get those videos. So as you guys can see, the title of the video, he was an Rdap graduate and is now on the run. So if you look at the picture down here on the bottom of my screen, you see the guy on the far left wearing the gray shirt. He was probably one of my, I would say, better friends while I was in federal prison. He was a guy by the name of Lee. And he was in Rdap with me. He graduated Rdap with me. You know, he really struggled to make it through Rdap and getting through the program. And just like everybody else, you know, Rdap is no joke. And he got released after me. He had to serve, I think after he finished Rdap, he had close to a year left on his sentence before released. Well, he's been out now for quite a while. He's in the federal halfway house, or was in the federal halfway house over in like Tallahassee, Orlando area, over in Central Florida. And I just found out. I just spoke to him yesterday, and I've been trying to get him on the phone all day to come on here and talk to you guys, because he ran from the halfway house. He just left. He made some bad choices, and I think he decided to use some drugs and kind of lost his cool and took off. He ran out of the halfway house. So being that he's still in the halfway house, or was in the halfway house, which means he's still in the BOP custody, that is going to be a violation of his Rdap, the residential drug addiction program, which means he's definitely going to go back to prison to give back his year that was taken off of a sentence for Rdap, and he'll be lucky if he doesn't receive another charge for escaping out of the halfway house. He could receive up to an additional year for absconding the halfway house. And this just is one of the this happens very often, believe it or not. People that are in the halfway house, something happens to them. It's so different than prison in a lot of ways, where you're so trapped in there. And there's just a lot less to do. You have more time to sit there in your mind. It's easy to get in trouble in the halfway house. And he made some bad choices, and now he's on the run, so to speak. I was talking with him pretty much all day yesterday, trying to figure out what happened. And you know, he's a really good guy. Honestly, one of like the best people, genuine, caring. But he's just got some dark demons when it comes to drugs and alcohol and substance abuse, and it's not easy for everybody to kick those habits. So yeah, it's easy to say, you know, I'm reading the comments in here, it's easy to say that lose all toward good time, lose Rdap credit. Wow, yeah, you know, and it's easy for us to look at that and go, wow, what a stupid decision. Why would anybody do that? Clearly, you know, there's something else going on there. And when you have somebody that's a true addict, when you have somebody that that has really been down through addiction and goes through prison, in prison you're in a very monitored environment where everybody's overseeing everything you're doing. Once you're released to the halfway house, you know, you don't have guards watching you anymore. You just have what they're called RMs, room monitors. They're like glorified babysitters. Most of them are in their mid to late 20s, early 30s. They're just, you know, minimum wage workers, maybe a little bit above minimum wage, and their job basically is just to babysit you. Their job is not to be guards. Their job is not to put their hands on you. So you don't really have an authority figure. You have rules, and if you break those rules, you can go back to prison. Well, when drugs and everything else play a role in your mind, and I'm not sure what drugs he took. Apologize for yawning. I'm not sure what drugs he took, but whatever happened in his mind, he freaked out and ran out of the halfway house, and he's been gone. He left yesterday or the day before, and he was texting with me, and he's kind of fallen off. I would love to get him on here to talk to you guys, because I think it's going to be therapeutic for him to be able to kind of relive what's going on in his mind, especially if he's trying to get clean now before he goes back into prison. So at some point, he's either going to self-surrender, turn himself into the marshals, or he's going to just stay out as long as he can, and they're going to find him and catch him. And it's really, really a shame. And I've seen it so many times. And it's usually good people. It's usually good people that just have inner demons when it comes to drugs, and they just cannot control the drug habit. And Rdap can only do so much for you. Rdap can give you the tools. It can present you with opportunity. But at the end of the day, and you guys have heard me talk about it, it's easy to do the right thing when it's being kind of designed and set up for you to do the right thing. But once you get released and no one's looking and you have bad days, that's when you got to be able to use these tools and these exercises that you've learned throughout different programs, whether it be Rdap or other reentry type service programs that are there for inmates to help reintegrate back into society. Lee did a little bit more time. I think he was down a total of like 5 or 6 years on this bid. Oh, long day already. But he's been down for a minute, and I just don't think he's ready to get back into society just yet. I don't think he has enough confidence in himself. And he's one of these guys that is just full of talent. One of the smarter dudes that I've met. Very, very articulate, very creative, but yet he's got very low self-esteem and very low confidence in his own ability. And that is definitely prohibiting him from making progress forward with his life. So I've been trying to get in touch with his mom today. So if you guys, anybody out there is going to say a prayer for Lee, because it's not easy going through this, guys. And he knows he messed up. All day yesterday, he was telling me how bad he fucked up, and he can't believe he put himself through this. He can't believe he's putting his family through this again. He's really beating himself up, and that's not going to do any good either, because, what's done is done. He's going to have to face the music, and the sooner he faces the music, the sooner it can all be over for him again. And, a year or 2 years, whatever it's going to be, it sucks that he's going to have to go back and do that again, but it's very, very common. So those of you that are watching these videos, if you have real drug addictions with, whether it be meth or heroin, crack, cocaine, even if you're severely addicted to marijuana and you don't feel like you can stop smoking marijuana or drinking alcohol, these things can definitely place you back in prison, because most of us have lived our entire life where we can, drink if we want to, we go smoke a little bit of weed if we want to, no big deal. But when you're inside of the government's system, the BOP, federal halfway house, probation, you're not living life the way you used to. You're under a microscope and you're scrutinized. Everything you do is intensified. Like, how many times have you gone to a vending machine, put money in the vending machine, and it eats your money, or it doesn't spit out the food, or there's an issue and you smack it around a little bit? That's not going to send the average person back to prison. However, while I was in the federal halfway house, I don't know if you guys saw the video or not, but one of my videos is posted. I went back to jail. While I was in the halfway house, I put money in the vending machine, and my foot stuck between the glass and the little corkscrew that pushes it out, and the glass was caved in about 4 or 5 inches, enough to reach your hand in over it. So I figured, well, what the hell? I already paid for it. What's the big deal? I reached in, took what I paid for. Didn't really think twice about it, because in the real world, where you're not under scrutiny and you're not on probation, or you're not living in a federal halfway house, those type of things aren't going to have consequences. So the consequences for me were when they reviewed the tape, because they saw the glass was pushed in. They didn't know who pushed it in, but they saw me reach in and take food out of it. They initially tried to charge me with theft of a 50-cent bag of chips. And it took 27 days with me sitting in county jail of me fighting it to get them to go back up the tape an extra 30 seconds and see where I actually put the money in. That very easily could have resulted in me losing my RDAP, going back to prison for a year for RDAP, plus the 11 months federal halfway house time, and maybe some good time taken away. So all in all, I would have went back to prison for more than 2 years, which was longer than I served in the original time with my good time in halfway house and RDAP. So it's very, very easy to slip up. And I see it happen to people that I would never imagine. Dumb things, like stupid things that are seemingly unimportant decisions that we're so used to doing in our regular world. And that's why I'm telling you guys it's so important to start changing your habits now. If you're still trying to beat the system, if you're trying to find ways around it, you know, I told you about the guy that I've been talking to. That's a client of mine that didn't want to go out and do his community service. He thought maybe he could just pay to get it done. And, you know, he paid a lot of money, $5,000 or $10,000 or something like that. And he threw some drugs on top of it. Didn't tell me he was doing this until after the fact because he knows what I would have said. But come to find out, whoever was telling him they could get him these community service hours ended up just scamming him and ripping him off, knowing, well, what's he going to do about it? And who knows? This guy that potentially took the money and the drugs from him, now my client also found out that this guy has some charges, an indictment. This could be a setup to where they're trying to set him up to get him in additional trouble for this other guy to get himself out of trouble. So that's obviously a intense scenario. That's a very at the high end of what kind of bad decisions people make, but that is a really, really bad decision. And the guy that did this is so fucking smart. He's probably one of my smartest clients. Probably one of my smartest clients, hands down. Very witty, very on his toes, knows how to think, but he spends so much time trying to think of ways to beat things that if he took that same amount of energy and just went at it head first, he would conquer everything he needs to conquer in life. So I hope you're watching this video. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to throw him out there like that, but you know who you are. And we've gotten past that. You know, you were open, you told me about it, and you were honest, and you told your attorneys about it. So, you know, I give you props for coming clean on it. And, you know, you just got to pray that it's not going to have additional future consequences other than, you know, you're out a bunch of money. It's just, in these type of things are ways that a lot of us have been used to living life, where when we need something done, we want to find a shortcut, we want to pay, we're used to just throwing money at things if we've got a little bit of money laying around, but yet we're not willing to go do things the right way. And I don't know what causes that, because I used to be the same way. Do whatever I could do to get over on somebody or something, or just to say that I did it. You know, it was kind of like some type of a high or a rush that you're constantly chasing. But when I look now, seeing other people go through it, I see myself so much that it's like, how did I let myself live my life like that? How did I constantly go through life making these crazy choices that at any moment could backfire so bad in decisions that I've made, financial decisions, companies that I've worked for, poor choices, that taking advantage of people. I mean, it's just horrible to know that I used to make these kind of choices, and I can't undo anything I did. I can't undo it. The only thing I can do is remember how it made me feel, and focus on how I feel now making positive choices. And man, I make positive choices every single day, because there's always struggle. There's always going to be struggle. You know, from going out with my girlfriend and knowing that if I'm going to be driving, that I can't have a drink. You know, would I get pulled over for one beer? Probably not. But what if I did? What if I got pulled over for that one beer and their alcohol was on my breath and I got a DUI? That's a violation of probation. So many nasty consequences can come from something that seems like not a big deal. I just had a beer or two. I can drive. Get in a car accident, even if it's not your fault, somebody dies, you've had alcohol. I mean, so many negative things. So I'm constantly reinforcing positive decisions with my own life. And it inspires content to talk to you guys about. Watching Lee go through this and watching how hard he struggled to get through Rdap, how much effort and work he put in, and how uncomfortable he made himself in Rdap. Lee was a very quiet, doesn't like to be out there in the open, doesn't like to engage in conversation with people he doesn't know, doesn't like to be outspoken, and RDAP makes you do those things. So Lee had to do things that he'd never done in his life before in order to get through that program. And to watch him throw it all away with some bad choices to get fucking high, it's baffling to me. But at the same time, I know it's easy for me to say, oh, that was dumb, why would you do that? But it's not that easy for somebody else. And I understand that because, like I said, I used to be like that. A lot of you may still be like that. And not necessarily with drugs, but with just decisions and choices every day that we make, that we cut corners. So if you're finding yourself cutting those corners, and if you're out there walking your dog and you're not picking up the poop when no one's looking, but you do pick up the poop when someone's looking, you got to check yourself, because that is a real simple way to look at the type of person you are. If you're not picking up your dog shit because no one's looking, but you would pick it up if someone's looking, you might be a scumbag. But you can change, just like Todd. Todd says you're a scumbag in training. So if you're a scumbag right now, just identify it that you're a scumbag and move on with it, and just start making yourself uncomfortable. Next time it's 3 a.m. and you're taking your dog out and you're tired and you're sleepy and you're like, oh, he's taking a shit. Just, you know what? Take that extra 30 seconds, go get your little poop bag, pick it up, and you're going to just go, man, that was not hard at all. I'm so glad I did that. And that's the way we feel with most decisions that we make. When we put things off and put things off and put things off, and then we finally just go do it, we're like, why did I keep putting it off? Why didn't I just take care of it? Because A, I feel way better now that it's done, and it wasn't that big of a deal. The new platform that I'm using, other than YouTube now, the VidMe, and here, let me post a link to it. So it was a pain in the ass to get set up because here, let me find it real quick here. Because I had to port all my videos from YouTube over to VidMe, and I don't know, it was like 140 something videos. So that takes a minute. Here, I'm posting a link to my VidMe link in here, guys. So go check me out on VidMe. But while I was doing it, I got like halfway through and I wanted to stop. I wanted to take a break. And I'm like, you know what? If I stop right now, there's a really good opportunity that I might not come back to this for a couple days, because I'll get sidetracked, busy with other things. So it was just me reinforcing another positive decision. That wasn't anything crazy. It took me an extra 45 minutes to get those videos on VidMe. Now every video that's on YouTube is also on VidMe. And that's what I wanted. For whatever reason, I wanted that to be done, and now it's done. And the old me would have put this off, and put this off. And I still battle with procrastination, and I still battle with immediate gratification and impulsiveness. It's something that I'll always struggle with, but because I've taken it out of my blind and I'm aware of its existence, I'm aware that I'm impulsive, I'm aware that I'll procrastinate and put things off. So because I'm aware of that, when I catch myself doing it, I'll find myself going into that mode of thinking, and I'll almost immediately catch myself and make a corrective action to not allow that to happen. Because those are the things in my past that led to such fucked up life. Because a little thing, you let all these little things pile up, and before you know it, man, you are just struggling. You're struggling. Oh, I'm going to take care of this tomorrow. Bills are getting paid late. Not even because you don't have the money, just because you're too lazy to go online and pay a bill or set up an auto pay. I'll do it next time. I'll set it up next month. And you don't do it, and you don't do it, and you're getting these late fees. But you'll spend 3 fucking hours on the phone fighting a $3 late charge just for the principle that you don't want to pay it. And you wouldn't pay it if you paid it on time. So I make a conscious decision every day now to live somewhat uncomfortable. And it's getting more and more comfortable being uncomfortable. So I'm okay with it now. The Knockster, what's up, buddy? Yeah, I was watching your videos today. I was checking you out. The Knockster Show, he's got a little YouTube channel there. He's getting it going. Everybody's got to start somewhere. Did a little county time. He's trying to get in shape, doing some squats and stuff. So yeah, got to watch it today. Scott D, ever find out which prison consultant sent you that email? No, Scott, didn't find out. Honestly, I didn't really put a lot of effort into trying to find out because I don't even know where to begin. Computer forensic audit or something to track the bastards down. But you know what? I don't care because there's always going to be haters out there, man. Haters are going to hate, and I'm okay with that, because with all the haters that are out there, there's way more positive influence coming in the same direction. So it's like they're like a mosquito flying around that's just going to get swatted away, or I might let it suck my blood for a minute, then slap it and kill it. So I really, really, really don't care. Had an amazing interview yesterday. I told you guys I was going to be doing an interview with a sex offender that is going to be going to federal prison sometime in the next several months. Had about an hour interview yesterday. Went over a lot of stuff. Got a lot of good feedback. Got a lot of questions answered on stuff that you guys are going to probably find pretty interesting. Some of you may not want to watch it because it's a child pornography case, but at the same time, if you're going to be going to prison, your chances are, if you're going to a low, you're going to be in prison with sex offenders. And I think it's important to understand where their frame of mind is, because it is a sickness, it is an addiction, and it's such a taboo subject that it does not seem like there's any real resources out there for somebody to get the kind of help that they want to get. So it was real hard for me to turn that corner of being accepting to that type of crime, because prior to prison, there was no accepting. There was no thought of, hey, they're human too. That wasn't a thought it was just monster, monster, monster. Meanwhile, there's other people out there, murder. There's people out there robbing people left and right. There's white-collar criminals out there just draining people, sucking them dry, Bernie Madoffs, doing all these horrible things. But we justify things that we feel more relatable to. I was working at a pain clinic. I was an office manager of a doctor that was over-prescribing pain medication. And just because I wasn't the one handing the medication out or writing the prescriptions, I was still there contributing to the disease. And these patients are coming in, getting these drugs. I'm well aware. I know some of them take them back, sell them on the street, get into the hands of children, get into the hands of parents of children, and kids are dying, parents are dying, parents are getting taken away from their kids. I contributed to that. So who's to say I'm any better than the sex offender? So it's all up to how you want to look at things and how you decide who you're going to judge and who you're not going to judge. So if you're going to judge one person, you got to judge everybody, which means you got to fucking judge yourself. And nobody is a saint. Everybody in here is guilty of something fucked up, but they just don't want to talk about it because they like to live in this fake fucking bubble where they throw rocks, living in this giant glass house, but the minute somebody throws a rock back, they get their panties in a bunch. So once I came to terms with that fact and realized that we're all human beings and we all suffer from different types of things, whether it be drugs and alcohol, whether it be from manipulation, whether it be from porn, whether it be from gambling, whether it be from just, sexual addictions. Everybody's got something that they're struggling with, and sex offenders don't have any type of outlet. If you think about drinking, alcohol, you got AA, you got NA, you got Sex Anonymous, you got Food Anonymous for people that overeat, Overeaters Anonymous. You've got all these different groups to help with different addictions and different illnesses, but there's nothing for that. So when you think about it like this, I don't care if you hate sex offenders, I don't care if you hate child pornographers, but here's the thing. Most of them are not going to be sent to prison for anything longer than 3 to 5 years, to 10 to 15 years, which means they're going to be getting out again. They're going to be released from prison. And once they're released from prison, if they haven't dealt with this at all, prison's not going to deal with it. Prison doesn't provide programs for sex offenders, at least not that I know of, and nothing that's intense that's really going to allow them to be open and talk about it to find out where it's coming from. So now when they're released and you've got children, and now these same people that you're shunning and you don't want to see get any help, they might be looking at your kids next time and you're going to be all upset. So you're either a part of the problem or you're a part of the solution. So if you don't like it, that it exists, then contribute somehow to the problem. Contribute with a solution, with an idea, trying to get people together instead of fucking telling them they're monsters, making them want to hide more and more and just do it in the dark in the corners, because that's where they're doing it. They're not out there exposing themselves, right? They're doing it in the privacy of, they think they're doing it in privacy of their own home, looking at pictures. And it could be your child, it could be my child, it could be the neighbor's child, it could be anybody's kid. Kids are the victims. Not saying anything about their crime is right. It is a decision that they're making, but we all make fucked up decisions. That's why most of us are looking at federal prison time that are coming into these rooms. So if you're going to throw stones at somebody else, be willing to get hit in the fucking face with a stone, because none of us are any better than anybody else. One crime isn't better or worse than another. So don't sit there and justify this shit to make yourself feel better about the fucked up things that you did in your life. You've got family that you're leaving behind. You've got family that you're hurting. You've got children that you're leaving behind. They're not going to know how to handle this. They're going to get teased in school. You don't know what's going to go on. A lot of these sex offenders have children that they haven't necessarily done anything with their children. But once it gets exposed to what they did, the children are going to pay in a lot more severe of a consequence than they are. The children are not going to be able to hang out with other kids now. I've already heard stories from sex offenders that once the neighborhood found out, their kids were no longer allowed to hang out with those kids. Now, I could get it. You don't want your kids going to their house, but how come they can't hang out in school? How come they can't go to the park? I mean, it's like the kids are paying a big fucking price for a parent making some really bad decisions. So the only way we can stop this from happening is giving them an outlet to go to be able to find a way to see what they're doing is wrong and understand what the consequences can be. That's the reason why I've decided to get involved with this. It's not because I think their crime is no big deal, but I realize that no one else out there is willing to do it because they don't want to be looked at. And other prison consultants have flat out told me they don't want to do it because they want to do it because they know there's a need for it. Honestly, here's why. I spoke to a prison consultant who wanted to do this because he said there's a market for it. There's a market for it. They're willing to pay for help because nobody wants to fuck with them. But I can't. But other prison consultants told me they wouldn't do it because they were afraid it was going to push their other white-collar criminals away. So if you're really in this industry to help people, but you're so concerned about, well, this guy's not going to want to deal with me if I'm helping this guy. I mean, you're in it for the wrong business. Get the fuck out of the business, get out of the way, and just let rdapdan pave the way for the rest of the people. Because everybody deserves some kind of help in order to get better, to not repeat the same behavior, so next time it won't be your child. So if you're going to sit here and talk shit about the sex offenders, make sure you're watching what your kids are doing, because there might be one looking at your child right now that's not getting the help that they need to stop looking at children. All right, that's my rant. I am not a sex offender, but sex addiction can be brutal. Yeah, I mean, porn in itself, just porn in itself is a huge addiction. And it usually, especially with the interview that I had yesterday, it started with just porn, and porn eventually got boring and didn't have the same kind of effect. So it moved into some other shit, and that's where the child pornography kicks in. What's up, Chris? We got Chris in the room. Oh, hey, I don't remember who it was. Last video, somebody posted in the room that they asked if Todd was shipped to the medium, because when you look up Todd on the BOP, it says medium, but he was not. It's just the way the BOP posts stuff. I spoke to Todd's wife. Yes, I texted his wife yesterday. I said, "Hey, hope everything's okay. Was Todd shipped to the medium?" Someone was asking me. Boy, she freaked out and called me. She thought maybe I knew something that she didn't know. But no, Todd is in the camp. Todd's kicking ass, doing well. He's got that 9-year bid, and to him, it's like 9 days. You know, Todd's just killing it. So big props to Todd, guys. He's got a hefty sentence that he's dealt with and took it on the chin. And you would have thought he got like 30 days in jail with how excited he was to get a 9-year prison sentence. So motherfucking Todd Hansen is the man. Someday Todd will get out and watch us and be like, Todd, you're going to be old when you get out. You're going to have to get new glasses. The big disconnect between punishment and rehabilitation. Yeah, it's a really big disconnect, especially when you've got the taboo subjects. For most of the other issues, whether it's drugs, whether it's anger, prison offers a lot of programs. The problem is inmates do not want to take advantage of them. And even when you get into the halfway house, it's real easy to fuck up because you've got a little bit of freedom now. You know, you've got a taste of the free world. You're talking to old friends. You move back to where you used to come from. And I think that's what happened with my buddy Lee. And for those of you that has just joined, my buddy Lee, if you look at the picture on the bottom right hand of the screen, the guy in the gray shirt all the way to the left, he was by far my, look, in the regular world, me and Lee probably never would have spoke. We were night and day personalities. He had tats from his neck to his toes, was very quiet, very off-putting, intimidating looking. We got locked in the cafeteria one day because there was a tornado or some shit. So you get basically wherever you were stuck until the storm was past. And we were there for about 2 hours sitting at the table. And we knew each other because we were in Rdap. So we like had talked before, force talking, where it's like you got to like, oh, how's the weather? Da 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 da. Just bullshit. But during that like 2.5 hours, we just, I don't know. That's my bromance. That Lee was my bromance in there. So me and Lee connected on a really cool level, and I got to see him for who he really was. And he opened up, and I just got, because I talk to everybody, so everybody knows me. I'm like, I just go chat, and you're either gonna get sick of me, you're gonna like me, or you're not gonna know how to have conversation. Look, if you meet somebody that tells you they do not know how to have small talk, small talk does not mean it needs to be like, how's the weather? If you know people that do not like to engage in conversations, fucking run. I just watched a prison consultant video from another prison consultant, and he's talking about in his video how he doesn't like to have conversations. I've learned throughout my life, if you meet somebody that can't have a conversation other than like about business, if they can only talk about selling you something or talking about stocks or trying to make themselves sound all big and bad, if they can't just have a conversation and just get real and just talk about feelings and have a real life conversation, fucking run from that person, because they're evil inside. There's something black in them that they're afraid to expose their real you, because if you see through their soul and you're like, holy shit, that's kind of dark and black, you got to fucking run. So it's a prison consultant out there, put out a video. I don't want to say his name because I don't want YouTube coming after me for slandering somebody, but you guys put 2 and 2 together, and it was shocking to see that video, him being honest about how he doesn't like to have conversations with people. I've been in the world of sales my entire life, and when you meet people that can't conversate, like you can't get into a real conversation, or they don't know what to say and they get real closed off and it's a one-sided conversation, you're like, fuck, I can't get nothing out of this guy. It's time to move on, because all that person's going to do is succubus. You know what a succubus is, right? They just suck the life out of you. They're like a time vampire. They just take all your time and leave you with nothing, drain you dry of energy. So don't waste your good energy on fucking scumbags. How do vegetarians go when doing time? They have vegetarian meals, Noxter. They have vegetarian meals. They have like religious meals for people that are like the Muslims and the Jews that like don't eat pork, or Muslim. A lot of Muslims don't eat meat, so they have vegetarian dishes at prison, alternative vegetarian dishes for almost everything. And it's a good topic there, Noxter. Great question. I used to get the vegetarian meal probably 30-40% of the time, not because I was like, ooh, I want to be a vegetarian, but man, their food there was so many vegetables in there, like the vegetable lasagna, fucking bomb. The meat lasagna, some ground meat or some ground turkey. They started moving to ground turkey. They really tried to go like to a healthy lifestyle at Coleman in Florida, the prison. But the vegetarian lasagna, the veggie burgers. Sometimes they'd have veggie burgers, and sometimes they'd have soy patties. The soy patties were shit, but when they would have veggie burgers, they were like these big fat veggie. Oh my god! I mean, I was like, wow, this is insane. And they give you a lot of cottage cheese for like if you're a vegetarian, a lot of the meals they give you, because they're trying to get your protein, so they would give them cottage cheese. So if you got a veggie tray, it would come with cottage cheese. So I was always going after the veggie trays when there was cottage cheese. They would give you tofu, big chunks of like garlic and herb and barbecue tofu. It's not like what you would expect at all. Now, not every prison has that same food. Every prison, every federal prison has the same menu. They've got the same global menu, but they don't prepare it the same way. Like a veggie burger at Coleman was like fucking top of the line, where Lompoc, the veggie burger might be like, fuck, I hate that I'm a vegetarian because this is the worst food I've ever had. So I've heard some stories, guys, about other prisons' food not being as good as Coleman, especially when guys would get to Coleman from other places. They're like, oh my God, your guys' food is so amazing. So if you're going to Coleman, you're in for a little treat when it comes to the food. I'm not going to lie. Holiday meals, fucking A. 4th of July, talking chicken wings and hot dogs, like real hot dogs. Like they bring them out back, and they've got these grills, these charcoal grills that are probably 50 feet long, which is grates on top of them, and they're just out there grilling, and it's the whole compound just smells of barbecue. It's like, fuck, I can't wait to eat dinner tonight. Barbecue chicken, Thanksgiving, turkey, ham, stuffing, all the I mean, they do what they can do on the holidays. Christmas, they give you a badass Christmas basket that's got probably $100 worth of like food in it, and it's all snacks and goodies and, you know, treats and shit like that. But the point is they realize that you're in prison for a period of time, and the BOP does try to go a little bit above and beyond of making it somewhat comfortable, and it probably keeps down the violence, it keeps down the complaints, you know, it keeps down, I'm sure it helps regulate a lot of things by doing little things like that. Now, I know that the gentleman that was in charge of food purchasing at Coleman really took it personal. Like when he was there on the days that he would cook, and when he'd ask, what do you think of the soup? What do you think? It's like, it's fucking great. Yeah, I made that. He was real proud of the effort and work that he put in. So this was somebody that worked within the prison system that actually cared about trying to bring a little joy to a shitty place. And it was really fucking awesome to see people do that. And there were a few people. There were also people on the flip side that wanted to do everything they could to make your life a living hell. But you just got to realize it is what it is. And it's prison's going to be prison. But if you're looking for the bright side in any situation, you can find it. Sometimes you got to look a little bit harder and stop focusing on how negative everything is and find the positivity through the negativity. Yeah. What else we got here? I've heard that state is kind of different. You know, I've never been to state, but I've heard that too. You know, the thing with state, Knoxter, is state by state. So it's not like the BOP where it's kind of somewhat universal throughout the country, where every state has their own guidelines, has their own budgets. It's just, you know, I'm sure certain states are super pimping and other states are like, fuck, I hope I don't go to that state and go to prison. Is there any camps that have the Rdap program next to Connecticut? If you go to my website, here, let me actually post a link right to the page. Give me 1 second here. Don't know why I don't promote my website more. Because I'm a fucking YouTuber, and my website's just for information. But I use my website to find out stuff all the time. So, let's see here. Rdap program. Rdap facilities. Okay. Let me send this over. All right, if you guys are trying to find out where facilities are for Rdap in different states, here's a link. This is a page on my website. And let's see, Connecticut. FCI, Dan, it looks like there's a, if you see an asterisk next to it, that's for women, I believe. If you scroll down to the bottom, it tells you. So there's a federal correctional complex with Rdap in Connecticut. You got Pennsylvania, Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. It has a camp. FPC stands for Federal Prison Camp. So if you look there, Pennsylvania's got one. Lewisburg. You've got another one in Pennsylvania. McKen, some shit like that. So anyway, so yeah, take a look at my website, guys. That should give you some extra. I've also got a Q&A section on there. It's here. Let me send you the link to the Q&A. It's got a lot of common questions about time off and just different stuff throughout Rdap. So here is some information for you guys. Boom, boom. Caitlin Kelly, any chance my husband can get into Rdap with a 27-month sentence? I know 24 is the minimum, but it only leaves 3 months to get in. Well, you got to remember, and here's where a lot of people get confused. So on 24 months, you're going to take off your good time, right? So So on 24 months, actual time that you would need left to get into RDAP, 24 times 0.85. So technically, you have to have 20 months, 20 and a half months left on your sentence to enter into RDAP to get the 6 months. So if he's got a, what'd you say, 27-month sentence? 27 times 0.85, that leaves him. So he's got about 3.5, 4 months to enter into the program before he wouldn't be eligible. So he's got a few months to get in. So yes, there is a chance. Do they have RDAP where he's at, Caitlin? That's the big question. If they don't have RDAP where he's at, and I don't know what's in his PSR, if you have his PSR, Caitlin, my email is at the top of this screen, and I'd be super happy to review the PSR for you and give you some it's free. I'm not going to charge you to review his PSR, but if you want to send over the PSR, I'd be glad to take a peek at it. And guys, so just so you know, I had a really fucked up call today. So a guy that I've been talking to, just somebody that needs help, doesn't have any money, so I've just been, giving him some coaching over the phone. He is probably going to go to a medium, and he's a little bit scared about having a 5K1. So he says he got his PSR. His attorney had his PSR, and his attorney read the PSR to him over the phone and said there was nothing in there about the 5K1. So he asked his attorney for the PSR, and his attorney told him, well, I can't give it to you. Only way I can give you the PSR is once you're in prison, I can send it to you. That is not true. If you have an attorney that does not want to give you your PSR, be real fucking skeptical, because what I think, and this might be me awfulizing or jumping to worst case scenarios, but because his attorney knows that the client does not want to do anything that's going to cause him problems in the medium. So I think the attorney's just telling him it doesn't say 5K1 in there to get his client to sign this freaking plea. And once he signs the plea, now also, if he hasn't signed a plea yet, he couldn't have a PSR. So there's something shady is going on there. So I gave him a bunch of questions to ask his attorney. But if your attorney is telling you he can't send you your PSR, you better be careful of what you're signing, because you might be getting bamboozled. Word of the day, bamboozled. Text the word bamboozled now. No, I'm just kidding. Don't text that anywhere. Do you even know how to spell bamboozled? All right. He is looking to getting into Florence or Inglewood, which both have RDAP. The chances are, if he gets in there, here's the big factor is usually RDAP only starts every 60 to 90 days. So there is a possible chance that he wouldn't have enough time to get in there, but it's not likely. I think if he gets there in time and he's got no detainers, do you know if his PSR is clearly explaining that he needs the RDAP program or that he qualifies for the RDAP program? Again, if you're not sure, shoot it over to me, and I can look at it in about 30 seconds and tell you whether or not if he's a candidate or not. Ask Dan what credit you get from RDAP with 27 months. You get 6 months. You get 6 months off of your program. That's actually on the Q&A, guys. If you, on the Q&A that I just added into the link, if you click on the top question, it tells you right there. The following, here, I'll post this. I'll just post this in there, and you guys can read it. Here you go. Here you go. I don't know if I can post all that. It might be too much. Let's see. Oh, it's too much. I can only post 200 characters. It's 433 characters. The following is the amount of sentence reduction for early release. If your sentence is 30 months or less, you get 6 months sentence reduction. If your sentence is 31 to 36 months, you receive 9 months sentence reduction. If your sentence is 37 months or more, you can get 12-month sentence reduction. Now, that doesn't just mean if you're sentenced to a certain amount of time. You could be sentenced to 37 months, but if you don't get into RDAP with enough time left, you might only get 9 months off. So just because you got sentenced to 37 months doesn't guarantee you a year off. Everybody follow me? All right, moving right along. So yeah, I'm really bummed, man. Again, if you're just catching up to this video now and you missed the beginning, a good friend of mine, and he was like my best friend for like a year in Rdap. His name is Lee. In the picture in the bottom right hand of my screen, he's the guy wearing a gray shirt. Went through Rdap together. I mean, this was my workout buddy. We used to eat dinner together. We would make our little meals together. We would go watch movies on the weekend. I mean, we pretty much, we were like, I'm telling you, it was a bromance, man. We just got along really, really well, and we enjoyed each other's company. We helped each other do each other's time really well. And we fed off of each other because we were completely opposite. But he got out of prison after me, about almost a year after me, went to the halfway house, and just yesterday, man, he fucked up, guys. He got high with drugs. I'm not sure what it was. It might have been meth. I'm not positive. And he left. He just left the halfway house, just left. Said, I can't fucking do it. I'm leaving. So now he's absconded the halfway house, which could turn into an escape charge, and he's going to lose his Rdap. So he's going to go back to prison for at least a year, plus his halfway house time, and maybe catch an additional charge for escaping the halfway house. I think if you're gone more than 48 hours, it goes from absconding to escape, because now they're looking for you. So it's just really scary on how quick a bad decision can be made, and it can completely change your life that quick, guys. So take it real serious throughout this entire experience, especially when you get to the halfway house, and especially when you're on probation, because all those things, those choices that you're used to making that don't carry big consequences, carry big consequences. You're 5 minutes late in the real world, you might get yelled at. You might say, hey, be here early next time. No big deal. When you're late in the halfway house, you can get a shot. You can lose your passes. You can lose your job. You can lose your home confinement. You do it enough times, they can take good time away from you. They can violate you. They can send you back to county jail. There's so many ways to screw up and get sent back to county jail for 20, 30 days. When you get in trouble in the halfway house, it's not like a slap on the wrist. If it's something somewhat serious, you showed up really late, they caught you going somewhere where you weren't supposed to go, on your way to work, you decided to stop at McDonald's and get a burger, they can violate you for those things, guys, and you can go back to county jail and lose good time. It's a big deal. So don't think just because and what's going to happen is you're going to get this sense of complacency once you get to the halfway house, and you're going to get into a routine, and you might stop once or twice and get a burger, or stop and get a pack of cigarettes. No big deal. It might be that 20th time that you do it that they catch you and make a big deal out of it, and then you're just going to be kicking yourself going, it was not fucking worth the McDonald's quarter pounder with cheese with barbecue sauce on the side for the french fries and a large Coke. I know it sounds really good. It sounds really good, but it doesn't sound good enough to go back to county jail. Just think about it. A double quarter pounder with cheese. It's fucking juicy. You got those golden arched french fries, salted to perfection, with a side of barbecue sauce. It's got that tangy zest. It's so good. And you wash it down with a cold Coca-Cola. But anyway, it's not worth it. And at heart, I'll be a fat kid for life. And I love McDonald's. Like once a month, I just go tear up McDonald's because I love it. I love it. It usually hates me later on, destroys my stomach. But I love McDonald's. Not going to lie about that. Kaylee, my husband is at a camp in Montgomery. I'm more nervous about the halfway house than the prison time. As you should be. Now, I have to ask you, do you say that because, are you nervous because you know your husband and you know that sometimes he might make not the best of choices? If that's the case, you got to be real fucking worried, because the halfway house, it almost breeds bad decisions because it's so easy to try to break the rule. You say, oh, I'm going to go look for a job. And when you go out and look for a job, they want to know where you're going. So let's say you're going to go apply at, I don't know, let's say you're going to go apply to car wash. They want to know what car wash, what time you're supposed to get there, and then you got to bring back verification that you were there, like a business card or something like that. So things people do is they'll have their friend or their girlfriend go way ahead of time, get a couple business cards from the car wash, and then when you go to your job interview, you just go out with your girlfriend, you go back to the house, you make a little sexy time, put a little bun in the oven, whatever's going to happen, and then you bring back your card, shows that you were there. Well, people tell on you, man. There's no honor amongst criminals. That's why conspiracies are a fucking dime a dozen, because everybody tells on everybody else. And sometimes it's to get themselves out of trouble, or sometimes it's just because they don't like to see anybody else getting away with anything. And there's like this evilness about them. So you don't know. So the only way you can avoid those type of things is just don't do it. Just don't do it. It was hard. There was I used to see people do it all the time, and they were gone all day long. And they'd come back, and they're all coming from barbecues. Meanwhile, they were supposed to be out job hunting or whatever. And they come back, and they've got barbecue sauce on them. They went out with their girlfriends. They were getting laid the whole time. And here I am, like, doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, and it's frustrating, and seeing them just fuck off all day long and get away with it and just living like they're not even at the halfway house. And I was jealous, but I kept saying to myself, man, but once in a while, once a week, out of everybody in the halfway house, you would see somebody get popped off, and that was I don't want that to ever be me. So it's just not worth it. My husband is so you got to be real careful. Was it Kylie? Be real careful, Kaylee, because there's nothing you can do. You can say, hey, babe, don't fuck up at the halfway house. Don't get caught up in the gossip and the shenanigans and the mischief. But at the end of the day, you got to hope that your husband has learned some useful tools while he was in prison to take out with him. But if he was in prison, just going through the motions and living the prison life, that's why it's a revolving door, because most people don't take prison seriously. It's like they're not forcing themselves to utilize. The prison's not going to force you to rehabilitate yourself. They'll put stuff out there, but you have to go willingly enroll and take advantage. They're not going to make you do these things. But I'm really, really, really upset. I'm disappointed in my friend Lee. So Lee, if you're watching this, I love you like a brother. I always will. But man, you fucked up bad this time. And I know you're hurting your mom. He calls his mom his mama. And he loves his mama. That's all he spoke about in prison. How much he loves his mama, and he doesn't want to put his mama through any more anguish and any more pain. And here you are, brother, doing it again, man. Doing it again. So she's always going to be your mama. She's always going to be there for her. But stop fucking kicking her. Stop kicking her in the face, man. Be a man, grow up, and stop making these childish decisions. Impulsive, childish decisions. And I hope you call me so we can talk. Dan, could you do a video on best prisons to go to, or how to pick a prison? My husband is struggling between asking for Inglewood and Florence. Caitlin, I could try. Problem is, I haven't been to all the prisons. I've never been to a camp. I was at a low. And I can tell you this. Everybody that gets to the prison, when they get there, because I email with a lot of my guys that are in, they all tell me, I'm at the best prison ever. They all say that. I said that. This is the best prison ever. I don't think any of them are that bad when it comes to camps and lows. Mediums and pens, different breed. But camps and lows, for the most part, there's going to be some perks at this one, some perks at that one. But for the most part, they're all probably pretty fucking good to where you're not struggling life. So tell them not to overstress that too much. There's always going to be different people running shit. RDAP coordinators come and go. Prison wardens come and go. So it might be great this year, it might be shitty next year. So it's like it's really, really hard to say. That's why, look, if I wasn't so lazy, I would have gotten on this more. And I am going to make an effort to really, in the month of August, to really step up with the website. On my website, guys, which is rdapdan.com, and I've had this website forever. I just don't do shit with it. I've got a blog section set up on there for users to create usernames and passwords and blog. So I want to start doing this with the guys that are in prison. I want to start getting them set up and just emailing them with them through core links, and then taking their emails and uploading it to a blog on the blog for them to give you guys information on what's good and bad about different prisons. Because right now I've got guys scattered pretty well throughout the country. I can tell you right now, on my active caseload, and let's just look in the last 180 days. Okay, in the last 180 days, we've got a little over 80 clients, guys. And how many of them are in? Let's see. 30. Oh no, he goes So we've got 32 guys that are in prison right now, scattered out pretty good. So if I had all 32 of those guys commenting and blogging, that would be such amazing content and information for you guys, because that's going to tell you about these prisons that you might be going to, what's good and bad. And then you can post questions and they can answer. So that's a work in progress. It's done. I just need to start doing it. Simple as that. So I will make that attempt. I need help. That's what I need. I need somebody to help me with my rdapdan's business. Help me on that side of things. Like, I've got Shelly busting ass with letters and customer service and responding to you guys. And I've got Shayna and the writing team up in New York that just does amazing jobs with the narratives and the character reference letters and the letters to Grand Prairie, Texas, and the letters to probation. So all that stuff is like running as smooth as I could ever imagine. But the stuff that I need to help with is like the advertising on my company, the SEO, the managing the website. So if anybody out there has some amazing experience in blogging and all of that stuff, and SEO and, you know, thumbnails and all that stuff, if you want to help me out, let me know. There might be an opportunity for you. Just reach out to me at my email. Let me know why you think you'd be a good candidate. And I'd really like to get somebody off of the channel to help me with it, because if you're on the channel, you've probably got some kind of passion or some kind of love for the industry, which means it's going to be a little bit more serious to you, and it's not just going to be a job, because nobody that works with me has a job. They've all got an awesome career that supplies an amazing fulfillment of just, it's a combination of doing something that you love, that you're passionate about, and that you're able to make money with at the same time. It's like, it's the ultimate job for somebody like me, because I love being able to help people, and I love that I can make money helping people. It's a perfect combination. It's a perfect marriage. I do have a serious case. Oh, so you got a state case going on. I thought you were already done. Public defender equals free. Public defenders on the state side, you got to be real sketchy about them. Federally appointed attorney on the federal side is not a public defender. Most federally appointed attorneys, the free attorney that the federal government appoints to you, these are real attorneys. These are like real attorneys with their own practices, their own law firms that just do this as well because they get paid really well. So it's like extra money. So it's different than a public defender on the state side that has 5 gazillion cases and he's like 2 days out of law school. So there is a difference. And I love to see the community in here talking with each other. I wish the chat would stay. Like, after the video saves, I wish it would scroll through this for other people that watch it to engage and see what kind of questions and answers are being asked. So YouTube, if you're watching this, you need to update that. And guys, hey, have you guys gone over to VidMe yet? Did you check me out on VidMe? Please, guys, subscribe to me on VidMe, because there's going to be videos coming out over there that I'm not going to release on YouTube, that you're only going to get the content on VidMe. So here's my VidMe. Again, I just posted it. It's also in the description of this video. So for those of you that watch this video later on, please check out my channel on VidMe. I didn't even know what VidMe was until a week ago. I heard another YouTuber talking about it, and he likes it so much that he is no longer on YouTube at all. Now, I'll never do that, because YouTube has gave me the ability to make my own dream come true. So I will never leave YouTube, but I am going to get getting a serious relationship with VidMe, I think. I might even get some VidMe shirts, guys. Might be coming. So check out VidMe. If you haven't already done so, please do it before you leave the video, because we all know you're a bunch of procrastinators and you won't do it later. Just kidding. Nothing but love for you all. Yep, you're definitely not alone, Knoxter. And I've got a couple of guys with state cases that can give you some insight. One of them is Will. Will was looking at time. Will was looking at guaranteed time, and combination of Will taking some direction and us doing some amazing letters for him, and Will taking shit into his own hands and getting stuff done, ended up with probation. So it's not impossible to get probation, Knoxter. You just got to be willing to leave it all in the ring. That 12th round, don't give up. Keep swinging until the end, my man, because you don't know what might happen with seconds to go. I love to make metaphors. You're not I got a Fed case, pretty screwed. Listen to Dan. He will really... Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it. Hey, if you guys haven't already checked me out on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, I get some crazy, funny Snapchats from you guys. So if you guys are on Snapchat, definitely add me. It's just right, rdapdan. Find me on Snapchat. rdapdan. It's real simple. So I love fucking around with Snapchat. It's funny. Just don't send me anything rude or graphic. You know, don't get me in trouble. Don't send me nude pictures that my girlfriend's going to see and flip out. But she understands. She knows it's like it's out of my control what kind of pictures come through. And I get some insane stuff. Insane stuff. Okay. The bird's doing good. Give you guys an update on Emma, the bird. She's in the bathroom right now because I want to leave my office door open because it gets a little stuffy in here. But Emma's doing good. We decided to keep her at least another week because she's not completely eating on her own. Like she'll eat when you put it near her. She'll grab it out of your hand. But she's still kind of dumb and doesn't know how to pick it up off the plate yet. She keeps missing it and hitting the plate. So we're going to keep Emma for another week. Shelly's going to pick up a bird cage tomorrow. And who knows, Emma might become a permanent fixture in the Rdap Dan household. I won't mind if we have a birdhouse for her, but just letting her... Oh, there's my Satan dog down there. Oliver's attacking Einstein. Hey, look at these retarded dogs, guys. You want to see what my dogs do? They both just wedged themselves into the cage. What are you guys doing? You guys like biscuits? Oh, here comes Fatty. You like biscuits, huh? You like biscuits? You gonna dance? Where you at? Where's Oliver? There he is. There's no biscuits that I lied. You already had biscuits. So that's Oliver and Einstein, guys. You guys have seen them. I've actually got some Rdap Dan shirts coming for them, which now means I might have to get VidMe shirts as well. Because VidMe is pretty badass. If you guys haven't checked out VidMe, it's got some cool features that YouTube doesn't do. So YouTube, you need to step it up, man. You got competition out there now. Uh-oh. I lied. There's no biscuits. Stop barking at me. The dogs run the house. All right, guys. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted you guys to really let you know that that just because you get out of federal prison, the halfway house is no walk in the park, and neither is probation. But once you get complacent and you think you got it figured out, I'm telling you guys, I keep saying it, you're going to fall flat on your face, and some bad shit can happen to you, and it happens to the best people. Happens to people, to good people, make bad choices, and get messed up. Just like most of you, I would go on a limb and say nobody in this room is a bad person. We might have some bad character traits. We might have some bad flaws. We might have some bad habits. But we've all got the ability to fix it if we're willing to work hard and we're willing to focus on those issues. But just because you went through prison, don't think you fixed everything. You got the halfway house to deal with, and you got probation to deal with. You get through those, you're making progress. I slipped up, and I've been trying to live like a real cut-edge life. And I went back to county jail for 27 days for something that I never in a million years thought you could go back to county jail for. And that was just an eye-opener to how serious little issues can become depending on who's making the issue. So, with that said, please, guys, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my VidMe channel. It's in the description of this video. It's also right here. I'll post it one more time. Boom. Check me out on my website. My website also has all my videos. There's a YouTube page on the website that automatically pulls all my videos over, so you can check it out at rdapdan.com. Subscribe to my Facebook. Check me out on Instagram. Check me out on Twitter. Send me a Snapchat. We can send some retarded pictures back and forth. You know, some funny stuff. You'll get a lot of pictures of Oliver and Einstein. So if you want some funny pictures of Oliver and Einstein, please send me a Snapchat request. rdapdan. It's pretty simple. I will be here Saturday. I hope to have the video that I did with the child pornographer. I hope to have that video edited. I've sent it over to the editor. I'm not editing that one myself. It's too big. I sent that video over to have edited. Should be up and ready over the weekend, early next week. I'm getting interviewed this weekend by a news media company. So I will post that video up on YouTube, of course. You guys know I will, because no shame. No shame, Rdap Dan here. But anyway, guys, I love every single one of you. Beat Me channel. Okay, Beat Me channel. I'm not sure what that is, but Dan is recently off probation. No, I'm still on probation. I'm still on probation, guys. my probation has been relaxed. I no longer have to give UAs. I no longer have to go into probation, but I still every month have to check in. I'm still on probation. I still can't get in trouble. So, yeah. Anyway, rdapdan, love every single one of you. Subscribe, share, like. Keep this channel growing. Community is method. People helping people every single day. Christian, WTH. What are we asking? Beat the channel. What is beat the channel, Christian? I'm not sure what you're saying. And Scott, I like what you said there, man. This is not the end of the world. We will come out as better people. I always do that. I always say goodbye and then I start talking again. It's a fucking problem. I got to work on that. But I'm waiting for Christian to clarify what he's trying to tell me. Beat me channel. I don't know. Beat me channel? I don't know. Does anybody know what Christian's talking about? Might have been a typo. Christian, are you drinking? We don't know. All right, guys, I'm rolling. Not rolling. Rolling out of here. I'm going to go take care of the bird, take care of the dogs. Shelly should be home soon, so I'm going to go make dinner. Steak and asparagus tonight. McDonald's tomorrow night. You know it. All right, guys. Have a fantastic week. I'll see you Saturday. Love everybody. I'm out of here. Peace.